just they're just stopping them from giving up motion control. Number one, they spent a lot of money on it, as I mentioned before, and number two, it's popular, it sells well, but not with the hardcore audience. But unfortunately, the hardcore audience is the one that it's smaller proportionally. Is what I'm trying to say.
Right,
So,
and it's also dwindling too with the rise of casual games and stuff like that, like Facebook games and tablet gaming. The casual audience, all they really need right now, all they really need is an iPhone, and they're good to go. I mean, so really, these major developers and console manufacturers, they need to focus towards the hardcore gamer because that's where their money's going.
I mean, I just think things are starting to go downhill. I mean, you had like, as far as I'm concerned, the last time I really enjoyed console gaming was probably the PS2.
Yeah, that was. I think that was gaming's golden age, really.
Right.
Maybe not for some people, but for our generation, I feel like it was the golden era.
Yeah, because you had the backwards compatibility with the PS1 disc. You
Yeah,
had just millions and millions of titles.
most of it was all new IP. It was great.
Yeah, we're always trying to one up the Xbox, and the GameCube was competitive then.
Yeah,
So I mean,
well, Nintendo was still in the ring. The GameCube kind of turned out to be a flop, but it had some good launch titles, and so did the
it had its
PS2.
audience. Nintendo always had its audience, though.
It has a following as far back as the 1980s, 1990s.
Personally, I'm not a fan, but there are rabid. It has a loyal fan base.
Oh yeah,
Nintendo.
there are Nintendo fanboys, no doubt about it.
I mean, just keep beating Mario to death and don't keep buying the game.
I don't think that they're as out there as a lot of PlayStation and Xbox fanboys are, but they're still out there. Let's call them closet Nintendo fanboys. They're out there.
Well, they're not just Xbox or PlayStation ones. So
All right. Well, this conversation has kind of started leaning towards consoles. Let's head back to gaming and how you think that's going, or where you think it's going, rather.
well, there's two things. I think one of the first articles that I actually posted was how narratives seem to be becoming more important, and I enjoyed that. But I'm starting to doubt that now because we're seeing a lot of focus towards the just generic sequel, rehashing old plots. We're seeing a lot of free to play stuff and MMOs. And so it's just going for, here, we'll let you play this game for a while, then buy all your equipment and just keep leveling up. And less focus going on, like an exclusive linear story. Which, if you're into that, that's fine, but it just seems like it's starting to thin a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree, and you hit on some points that I want to talk about, but maybe in later episodes is about free to pay or like or free to play, but it's more like free to pay. It's basically
Yeah.
selling power to people who play the game, and it totally undoes the balance. But that's something we'll hit on later on. But as for games, where games are going right now, it's I mean, I think that there's still hope, but there's just a lot of titles out there that have kind of lost their way, and a lot of franchises that have lost their way, and they've kind of just jumped on the bandwagon, as in terms of they kind of lost what made them special in the first place, and they're kind of conforming back to a sort of mold that's typical in today's market. And I mean, unless we get out of that with new IP, which isn't looking like it's going to be in any sort of abundance in the coming months. I mean, we've got
I'd say it's almost non-existent.
yeah, it's very rare. Like, but actually, PlayStation seems like it's going you know towards the more innovative route with which is with its third party titles and well, not just its third party titles, but its first party titles, which are actually more so than not, new IP, and that's coming from an Xbox owner.
No, that's fine. I mean, I really don't have a preference myself. It's just if it's a good game, it's fine no matter what platform it's on. But the problem is, like, you can pretty much just strip off the cover and put it in another case, and you probably won't know the difference with most games that come out now. And I completely agree with you on there's no new IP. It's just, I don't know. It's frustrating because nobody's taking any chances. Because they don't have that competition. They don't have anyone saying this is the exact same thing you came out with 3 months ago, and we're not going to buy it.
Right. Yeah, because innovation has really kind of been squashed out due to the high prices of games, and developers needing a guarantee to turn a profit when it comes to games in development. So they're kind of taking a safer route, as opposed to a more innovative route that they would take back in the game like Super Nintendo era and PlayStation era. Very early on gaming used to be all innovation. There wasn't much competition, and now it's gotten dry.
I think another thing is I think this current generation of consoles and things like that have lasted too long. So like I don't know how much more they can actually do with their current engines.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but actually, I think PlayStation is actually sticking that out a lot better than Xbox has. Xbox is really starting to show its age these days, and I think the PlayStation still has some juice in it. But as for the Xbox, I think it's time for an update, in hardware. So, but we haven't heard anything about the Xbox 720 or the PlayStation 4, which I think is a big mistake on both Microsoft and Sony's part.
I don't have the specs. I was reading through some of the rumored specs. I don't have them in front of me right now for the 720, but it just seems like they're going to go a lot on peripherals. So I don't know how much they're actually going to upgrade the hardware.
Peripherals?
But
How do you mean peripherals?
well, a lot of it's going to have to do with interfacing with the Kinect some more. They're
So,
not going to give up
yeah,
like user interfacing and stuff like that. And it's just
that's no good. After a while, you just start to feel that fatigue of just like acting like an idiot, waving your arms around. I mean, that could take a toll on you. I mean, you get seriously exhausted after maybe 10 minutes playing Connect or Move or Wii or whatever, and it totally breaks you out of the experience. Yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to. It Gaming really isn't shouldn't be about exercise. I mean, I know that they like to push that with like all their dancing and fitness games, but playing video games should not be a workout. It should be an immersive experience where you're just experiencing a story and you're having fun. God forbid.
I'll make a deal with any developer right now. You know, I'll enjoy the Wii Fitness and stuff like that if they can actually interface like virtual reality where I'm actually running with against the bulls.
I think that I think that's reasonable. But yeah. All right, I think we're out of time, but
Can I just add something real quick?
sure.
All right. You'll have to forgive the lack of depth in the topics. We're just trying to introduce the audio log, so we touched on a lot of different things. I mean, I'm thinking in the future we're probably going to go stick to one or two topics and just kind of expand or elaborate on what we're thinking.
Yeah, this first episode was kind of just Ron and I going back and forth like we do when we're talking about video games. But in the future, our episodes will be a little bit more decisive, and we'll have a definitive topic and all that. We'll probably be doing another episode soon. We'll probably do something on microtransactions and microtransaction and gaming kind of moving online onto cloud services and all that. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Bryce Aleph once again.
I'm definitely not.
Okay.